right, welcome back, friends. We had a small little reflection set up of the structure, and now we'll ask Micah if you'd be so kind and turn with me, if you will, to Psalm 19. And I think it went so well having your recording last time. So I'll just put that up in as a separate little moment of meditation in my prayer cynical or prayer. I think it's supposed to be called prayer cynical, but I think it's actually labeled prayer room, so that you can just listen to that if you care to. Okay, looking for Psalms. Okay, awesome. Whenever you're ready, Mike.
All right, I'm reading from the ESV version. Okay. So, Psalm 19. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the sky above proclaims his handiwork. Day to day pours out speech, and night to night reveals knowledge. There is no speech, nor are there words, whose voice is not heard. Their voice goes out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them he has set a tent for the sun, which comes out like a bridegroom, leaving his chamber, and like a strong man runs its course with joy. Its rising is from the end of the heavens, and its circuit to the end of them, and there is nothing hidden from its heat. The law of the Lord is perfect, reviving the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. The precepts of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. The rules of the Lord are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired are they than gold, even much fine gold, sweeter also than honey, and drippings of the honeycomb. Moreover, by them is your servant warned. In keeping them there is great reward. Who can discern his errors? Declare me innocent from hidden faults. Keep back your servant also from presumptuous sins. Let them not have dominion over me. Then I shall be blameless and innocent of great transgression. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer.
Beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, thank you. All right. So we see clearly the three parts there. We had verses 1 through 6, God's revel. So we're talking about the revelation of God.
Mm-hmm.
Right. In the last episode, I was talking about the different attributes of God. That's some of those attributes we can come to by reason of our intellect that proves the existence of God. But some of the revelation comes to us by way of his own self, through sacred scripture, for example. Mm-hmm. So God's revelation, so it's a very broad term that I'm using right now. So in verses 1 through 6, we see God's revelation in creation, that hymn to God. 7 through 11, God's revelation in the law, the hymn to the Torah, God's wisdom. And 11 through 13, the response of the man of faith, thy servant. So that'd be someone who's attending to God. So it'd be someone who's seeking after God. And this, I know here's a stumbling block, the first point, his acknowledgement of sinfulness and sinful tendencies. So there's a realization and a humble realization at that of, yeah, all this revelation is great, but I have to have the person have to have a place of ability to recognize it.
Yeah. I like that it comes after the law section. Well, just the whole order of it, I think, is really beautiful because it's like this inescapable revelation of God found in nature and creation, and then a realization of the perfection of his law, realizing that there is a way to live, a righteous way to live. But then at the same time, at the end of that, realizing you can't do it on your own. There is no keeping this law as an individual. It has to be this crying out for help and realizing that humble realization of, as beautiful and perfect as this law is, I know in my own brokenness, there's no way I could keep it on my own.
That's correct. That's correct. And I thank you for pointing out that ordering of things, because it's a very common ordering that most people take coming to the Lord. There are a few who come to the Lord via, if you will, the studying of the Torah, God's wisdom, or theological treatises or that sort of thing. And that's true, they do. But most people do come in this manner. They look around at creation and they just look at the superfluous beauty of it, or the order, or the immensity, or the variety, right? So much, right? The Lord just doesn't create a cardinal. They're northern cardinals. They're these other cardinals. There's this cardinal and that cardinal, or
in so much detail.
In so much detail. And he does that he does it with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He does it with everything. And so you are very wise to highlight that order. And we'll also see, so now we're back into creation, so we're going to look a little more closely at the lines. In verse 1, our David, right, the Egyptian, the pagan religion of worshiping creation for the sake of creation, such as Ra from Egypt. Mm-hmm. That's what everybody else is doing. They get stuck. Yeah, stuck is probably as terrible a word as any. They get stuck on the beauty, right? Mm-hmm. The beauty of the sun, the beauty of the heavens, or half a dozen whatever else they're worshiping.
Yeah.
But David doesn't stop there. He sees the creator behind the creation. And that is hearkening back to Genesis, where God made nothing, from nothing he made something, ex nihilo. The two great lights in particular, the sun, which is what we have here, and of course the moon. And then we see rule or regulate, that orderliness of God. Mm-hmm. St. Athanasius, a church father, will say, the firmament with its magnificence, its beauty, its order, is an admirable preacher of its maker, whose eloquence fills the universe. Mm. And we recall back, on another episode with Psalms, that Athanasius, in his writings to Marcellinus, will say that every man will find themselves in the Psalms, and the Psalms, it's just like Psalms is preaching on every condition of that man will find themselves in. So it's one of the reasons you and I chose to take it up, because it is for every man.
Yeah. And it feels so vast. Like there's just so much to it,
That's correct.
Have you read The Four Loves by C.S. Lewis?
Yes, I have, but it's been a while.
I just
refresh us.
Started reading it again, and because I had started it years ago and never finished it, and so I restarted. And he talks about the love of nature and how it speaks to us, and reveals God to us, but it can't finish everything for us. Like it doesn't have complete revelation in it. There has to be more. And I'm trying to find what he said exactly, but yeah, the created glory may be expected to give us hints of the uncreated, for the one is derived from the other and in some fashion reflects it. So he talks about being able to see it, but nature gave the word glory a meaning for me. Nature never taught me that there exists a God of glory and of infinite majesty. I had to learn that in other ways, but nature gave the word glory a meaning for me. And so it makes me think about that idea of beauty and getting kind of stuck on the beauty, forgetting that there's more to it. We can't just limit God to the beauty of creation.
That's correct. And it goes back, maybe the last episode where we're talking about the definition of revelation of God.
Mm.
Right? And C.S. Lewis, right? He said he had to go elsewhere to understand about his glory and majesty.
Yeah.
That elsewhere is also part of the conversation about God.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. All right, my friends, that was verse 1. In the next episode, we'll take up verses 2 through 4. Till then,
Awesome.
Fide Sed Ratio.